No, no, no. That gets to be a lot. That's for sure. So, but yeah, yeah. I'll go ahead and kick this off. I know Joe usually does, but I'll pick it up today and run it. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the FREIA, Freedom First Real Estate Investors Association group. This is the alternative real estate investors group. We find ways to make money alternatively other than landlording, different ways to invest in real estate and make money. And with the group, we share ideas. The disclaimer you probably saw at the beginning of the Zoom. We're just here to share ideas. We share ideas and we share so any ideas or thoughts or advice that we give you, you really should check with a tax planner, tax advisor, or accountant, CPA, or your attorney. We're just here to give information and share information too. What we like to do with the group is we'll go around, see if we got anybody new on the group on the call. Is there anybody that's your first time on the call, or maybe haven't been on in quite a while? What we like to do is have people introduce themselves, tell us a little bit about themselves, what they're doing in real estate and what they'd like to be doing in real estate. So do we have anybody new on here?
Morning, Scott. I was on a call a while ago, but I've been away. Since I've been away, I've opened up my own company, Time Back Contracting LLC. I had resigned from Xerox after 22 years as operation manager and engineer. Some of you may have recalled seeing or hearing from me in the past. So I've opened up what I would say is more of a sophisticated handyman business, electrical, plumbing. Grew up as a landlord's boy. Had many pieces of rental property, but not in quite a few years. What brings me here to this meeting today is I'm interested in looking at investment property, mainly to maybe flip a house. It seems like this environment makes me a little uncomfortable to get into. When I was doing that years ago, it seemed like the market was a little more stable, if you will. Right now I struggle with, based on what a house may be getting for a list price and putting money into that and whether I can get money out of it. It just seems like housing's a little out of control. I also used to look at doing bank foreclosures. I'd bought many bank foreclosures in the past, but I don't see how to get that information. I've been out of it for too long, I guess, and I've kind of come into the meeting to, kind of poke at the minds that are here that have gotten into the investment arena to try and understand what some of the best paths are to get back into that and to do some flipping of houses. I mean, the handyman business is good. I'm very busy. The bar's pretty low out there. If I show up on time, if I tell somebody I'm going to be there, I'm like a hero. But then, I'd like to do some other stuff as well, and investing in houses might be that other stuff, Scott. So that's a little bit about me in the background. And like I said, I'd like to be more of a presence with this team. I was just looking at the memberships and reviewing that kind of stuff. So I've probably had enough of my airtime now, but I do have more questions as we go on.
Okay, well, welcome, Greg. We appreciate you being here. And if you have a chance, if you could use a chat, if you want to put your contact information there, like your phone and your email address, might be some people here who could use your services if you're willing to work with flippers and landlords.
Yep.
Yeah.
Excellent. I can do that in the chat. Thank you.
Okay, great. All righty. Anybody else new on here?
Hey, everybody. My name is Nolan. This is my first time to this group. I was at the general meeting last month. I know I met a few of you, but I'm a young potential investor looking to get involved in small multifamily real estate, landlording, buying, and holding. Very early in the process for me. Have been doing a lot of reading and just researching as I can. But want to network in Rochester and get to know some of the real estate names in Rochester. So just coming to learn more and listen. Thanks, everybody.
Great. Well, welcome, Nolan. We're glad you're here. So, all righty. Anybody else who hasn't maybe been on in a while want to introduce themselves, or are we all set? All right. So at this point in the meeting, what we do is we go around the room, we talk about have, needs, wants. If you're looking for a particular property or some help, maybe on a contractor or something like that. Yes. If you have anything you're looking to sell, you bring it up then. And also if you're looking for a certain property. So who would like, I'll go ahead and go first. Scott Spear, a real estate investor, was in Rochester, New York. That's where I grew up and learned real estate. Did pretty well in Rochester. And my wife and I had a long time goal of hopping an RV and traveling, and that's what we've been doing for the last year. And I am mainly into self-storage now. I have a number of self-storage units with partnerships, and it's going very well, and I'm looking for more. If you see something out there while you're out there driving around, take a picture of it. We can talk about it, especially if they look a little run down or if the owners are tired, want to retire. Even well-run facilities, looking for those too. I'm going to say all along the East Coast is where I'm mainly looking right now, but I'm looking also throughout the United States. So if you got self-storage, give me a call. I'll put my contact info in the chat box. Who else?
Scott, I've got, I'm obviously looking for commercial and residential also like Scott. And I'm also, I may have still, I don't know if it's still available. I've got a single family house in 14609 being used as a rental. We thought we had it sold, but something happened with the potential buyer. I don't know if it's going to be still available, but it's a 2 to 3 bedroom house. ARV somewhere around 130. It's rented right now, but it's probably going to go for somewhere in the, I think it was 79,000. So if you're interested, I put my contacts. It's my contact's Joe Bice, which is in the chat room over there. We are also looking for some more bigger flips. And obviously I'm looking for some commercial stuff up and down the East Coast. So if you know of any or see of any, give me a call. My phone number is in the chat. Anybody else got anything?
Yep. Joe, good morning, everyone. My name is Gabe, and exactly what you two guys just said, self-storage. I'm looking for anywhere in the East Coast and actually anywhere in the US. No size is too big, no size is too small, and run down and or not, you know. At the end of the day, if it's run down or not, in my opinion, I mean, if it's the numbers work, it can work. So you know, again, looking for self-storage anywhere in the United States. And I'm also looking for one thing, or asking for one thing. I was thinking about this week, and I was wondering if I'll leave my contact information in the chat box, but I was wondering if marketing. I know there's ways of marketing in self-storage and in commercial and real estate investing, you know, cold calling and mailing and all that stuff. I have some ideas, but I was wondering if I could chat with someone to kind of increase my marketing efforts, or to make it better, or to make a brand for myself, if you will. And I just wanted someone will be willing to chat for a few minutes and just kind of, you know, bounce ideas off each other, because I think there's a better way to get the word out there. I'm just seeing a certain way that's been done, and I just want to know if there's something else, another way to go outside of the box, if you will, you know. So I'll leave my number and email in the chat box if anyone wants to talk about it. I'm more than willing and open to ideas. So thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we could probably discuss that too a little on here also.
Okay.
Did we lose Scott?
I'm back. Sorry about that. I was muted. Well, thanks for that, Gabe. That was great. And let's see. Who else? Anybody else looking for anything? Looking for any
I'll toss
contact?
it out there from my end. If anybody has anything that comes up, primarily looking for single family and small multifamily out in like Palmyra, Wayne County, Ontario County. So I know a lot of you guys do a lot of lead work up in Rochester, but if you get anything out in my neck of the woods that just maybe doesn't serve your normal market, that's where I'm operating. So any leads, Wayne, Ontario County, I'll leave my email and phone number, but I'd be happy to take a look.
Not to interrupt you, but I forgot, I do have a lead out there in that area, but it's not really for the faint of heart.
For sure.
Which I completely forgot about. You just reminded me. So, my information's on there. We can go over that later too.
Cool. Sounds good. You know what town it is offhand by chance?
It's right in Williamson, Lake
Okay.
Avenue in Williamson.
Is it that 10 family?
No, it's a single family house.
Oh, okay.
Single family with problems.
Yeah. There's a lot of houses with problems on 21. So
This one's got COVID and everything else. So
nice.
structurally wise, I mean. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
No,
Keep
all
going.
good.
All right. Who else is looking for something? Contractors, properties? Nobody? All righty.
Okay.
I'm just trying to figure out how to get back into this. And the feet are having a hard time. They're getting a little cold. Trying to understand the best way and maybe some resources to start looking at flipping some houses. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of bank foreclosures availability. I know that this there's one site that seems to have some bank foreclosures out of, I don't know, downstate, and you have to do it only through bids and auctions. Has anyone done any of those types of auctions where they put in the bids and they don't really go and see the house and they don't, how does that work? Do you guys have any input on that?
Well, I know that most bank foreclosures aren't happening because of the eviction moratorium. So the banks are also banned from kicking people out and taking their property back. So you're not going to see anything until whenever this state of emergency and eviction moratorium passes. And it's supposed to be on the 15th of January, but my guess is we'll see it extended through June.
It seems like that's been extended a couple times already, right?
Yeah, well, they put it back in. It expired for like a week, and then the governor and the legislature passed it and put it back through till the 15th of January.
Thank you.
And just a word of advice. I mean, a lot of the properties that most people that we talk to, especially trying to get back in, they logically and naturally go back to trying to locate it through real estate agents, through everything where everybody else has access to. Typically, your best deals, you're going to have to get connected to people who get off-market deals. Okay, anything that and just like Scott's working on storage facilities all over the place. 99% of them are off-market deals. Okay. And the same thing for me. 99% of my deals are off market. You're just going to have to, this group is a great way to connect. You're definitely going to have to, whether it be to other wholesalers, other investors, because there will be other investors who will get properties and they're not going to be able to do anything with. As long as they know you and you're talking to them a lot, they'll say, hey, I may have this, it's not good for me. But, in the last couple of weeks, I've gotten rid of a few properties because we had too many. I didn't want to be doing so many flips at once. And that is an absolute great resource. So don't just keep doing what you're doing, just add on in regards to connecting with other people. Because that is what's going to put you
Networking
in your head.
Right. So just continue to build relationships and networking.
Yeah. Call people every single day. I get people who call me every day, call me, text me a couple of times a day. They don't call me every single the same person. It's just, it's gotten to the point now where people, I tell them once a week or once every few, whatever. And so they just stay connected.
Well, if you have anything in the Webster area that you get information on that you're not interested in.
We're working on a couple of places right now in Webster, right now, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
But
and once again, I put my handyman information in there, my company information. So hopefully if there's folks on the call that need that type of support, I can continue to build relationships with people. And that goes, for you too, Joe. I'd like to get into a circle where there's opportunities that are off the market, as you say, which sounds like that's probably the best way to get the foot in. So thank you.
yeah, and my number's on there, my 185 or my Joe Buys number. So feel free to call me. And for our handyman, they're few and far in between. Your phone should be ringing right now, actually. So
It rings a lot.
people looking for it. I'm sure you're busy or going to be getting very busy because we're stretched.
Yep, very good. Thank you.
Scott muted.
Nope, I'm back on. I just mute out while you guys are chatting. So let's see, we have the Leon. Hey, Leon.
Yes, I just want to interrupt for just a moment. Got a fair number of new folks on the call. Welcome to our first meeting of December for the alternative group. And just wanted to say welcome to everyone. And also the main thing I want to do is make sure people remember that the holiday party is coming up on December 10th. It'll be from 6 to 9 p.m. at Da Vinci's on Ridge Road in Greece. So hopefully everyone has signed up. Actually have until Monday to sign up and say whether you're coming or not to the event. You need to be a member of Freedom First. It's open to members, and the member can bring a guest. And basically, all the food is free. We're gonna have a great time. I mean, because we basically have a number of people who are vendor members. Some of the people on this call are vendor members, and they're sort of in competition with each other, trying to figure out who's gonna give the largest number of gift cards and the biggest amount for a gift card. So they're sort of challenging each other. So we're gonna have a lot of things to give away. And that's part of sort of the fun that we have. We'll have a DJ. We'll have, of course, we'll record the event for the website and for just future reference, for sake of better words. And just want to make sure that everyone knows if you are considering becoming a member, now's a great time, because that means that you could come to the picnic and you could bring a guest, and it's free. The only thing that's not free for, I said picnic, I meant holiday party, because we do basically the same sort of thing for the picnic. But if you just think about it, if you're just going to be a member and it's just going to be you, and so you spend your $169 to become a member, if you come to one of those two events that are free, you can bring a guest. And if you really think about it, there's not too many restaurants that you could go to where you're going to spend less than that for yourself and significant other. So just want to make sure I mention it and invite people to make sure that they sign up. Let us know, because we need a head count to give to Da Vinci's restaurant around the number of people. And I want to say thank you to all the vendor members who have basically signed up to provide raffles and well, gifts for the raffles and gift cards and things of that sort. So I think that covers pretty much the details there. This group won't meet again until after the holiday party has taken place. So I wanted to make sure I got those words in there. Joe, Andy, did I miss anything there?
Not that I know of. I think you're good. The only other note to make is that the fourth Thursday meeting, which is normally Carl's landlord support group, is not happening because it's Christmas. So everybody enjoy your Christmas or whatever other religious celebration you take during that vacation time. Spend it with your families and enjoy it.
Okay, I'll give it back over to you, Scott.
Okay, thanks for bringing it up, Leon. And I'll admit that's one thing with being on the road is not being able to go to the holiday party. My wife and I always look forward to it every year. It's a lot of fun. If you've never been, it's a tremendous amount of fun. A lot of food. And the best thing I liked about it was, I worked for myself, so I wasn't working for a company, and a lot of companies have holiday parties and such like that. So this was kind of our company holiday party. It was nice just to be able to get together and network. Vendor members always, they always came in strong too with prizes and such. And there's going to be some fun activities. Are you doing the DJ thing again this year, Leon?
Yeah, Brian, the DJ, he'll be there. He's going to do a couple of little things that are different. He's gonna try to set up for trivia and a couple other games so that people can get involved in the games and like we normally do. So, but he's talking about bringing a TV and doing trivia and things like that, and to add to some of the things that he's done in the past. So yeah, he'll be there.
Okay. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
It'll be a fun night.
If you've never been, definitely try to go. Like Leon said, bring a guest with you. It's free. You do have to pay for drinks at the bar. That's about the only thing you have to pay for. There will be drinks available in the room, but like water, coffee. I'm not sure if soda will be available or not. But there is a bar just outside the door, and it's a really, really good time. So, yeah, good. All righty. Let's see. It is the last month of the year. Today's December 2nd. I'm sure everybody knows that. And I want to throw out there, and if you want to bring it up, you can. The goals you set for 2021. How did you do with them? And also, is there anything we could do to help you? There's less than 30 days left. Maybe you got something that just needs to, maybe just a touch or a little twist or something like that. Is there anything anybody could use some help with on closing out your goals in 2021? Is there anything that you'd like to bring up that maybe we could just talk about as a group to see if we can help you achieve that final goal or your goals for 2021? Anybody have anything?
I'll go. Well, my goal died, I think, the last couple of days. I've been working on a short sale for almost a year and a half with Warner Fisher. And so he called me 3 days ago was negotiating with the bank, and he came back and said everything's dead. They found more liens against the property, more than what the bank wants to try and pay off. So our offer was rejected without a counter offer. So I guess what he said is they want to go and do a real estate owned auction on it and try and win the house back so they can put it on the market. I don't know the inner workings of that. So I mean, I kind of put all my eggs into the basket. And I guess my question is maybe for 2022 is I had capital set aside. It's going to be a cash purchase. So I kind of stopped, installed, looking for other off-market properties, reaching out to different people. I didn't do that as much as because I didn't want to get tied up into something that I would have to use my capital purchase. So one of my questions is how do you get around that? How do you, if you have capital reserved, do you folks just kind of wait to see if this pans out? Do you stop looking, or do you continue to look? And if another deal comes up, do you try to maybe, I don't know, offer it to somebody else or try and partner up? And I know I have a list now of other potential properties that I want to pursue. And I starting in 2022, I want to learn how to do more marketing, whether it's pay-per-click, whether it's search engine, try and put myself out there. I watched the last alternative real estate investing meeting online, and Joe, with your suggestion, I started reading how to, win friends, influence people. I tried to start learning about marketing, but I'm just really unsure on how to start that.
Anybody have any advice? We like to hear from other people.
Yeah.
I'm floundering, so I need advice.
Yeah, is anybody else? I mean, you're all, please don't think that Joe Lavavera and I are the experts on this. There's lots of people have lots of great information and such. And, I have some ideas, but I certainly like to hear from somebody else. Anybody else have any ideas to help Jim out?
I think that it is one of those like fundamental questions that a lot of people would have when they first start off. And I think that, some of us could probably answer that. I think that it's better to have other folks basically get in and sort of fill the water, because it's better. You basically learn by basically talking about it and understanding a number of different points of view. For some of us who have done real estate for a while, we recognize a couple of key pieces. And I'm going to say one thing, and then I'm going to shut up and somebody else needs to talk. And that is, marketing is fundamental to every business. And it definitely is quite fundamental to real estate investing. And so, and one of the things that we always say is, you're not in the real estate business, you're in the marketing business. And if you don't think that that's a true statement, try not marketing and you'll see what happens. So it's fundamentally important that all of us keep that in mind as we look at what it is that we need to do to be successful as entrepreneurs.
Anybody else want to add on?
Yeah, actually, I had to stop and think. At one point, I bought a number of houses. I would I'd buy some every day. And talking about the auctions, and I also lent money. So, what I wound up doing was, I'd use my own funds, and if something came along that I didn't have enough funds for, I would borrow from private lenders. So at times I was both a private lender and I would borrow from private lenders at the same time. and I would buy for cash or borrow the money for it.
Mhm. You know, a lot of people, actually it took me a while to get used to doing more than one house because you kind of feel uncomfortable. And I always thought that I was worried about getting stuck and not having enough money. And, you know, I know like Joe just said, which is a perfect example. I got to the point I said, geez, if I do get another house, it's a great problem to have. And if it's a good enough deal, which obviously we're not going to take a deal unless it's really worth it, the hard money lenders will be more than happy to give us money. Worst case scenario, we have 2 deals instead of 1. Best case scenario, you've got 2 deals instead of 1, and at the same time, it gives you choice because you can pass it along. And at first, when I started doing 1 at a time and getting more comfortable doing more than 1 at a time, I was like, okay, you know, I'll just start, I'll go to the hard money lender and then, and do what I got to do. And again, just because what works for us or what we feel comfortable with doesn't mean you have to feel comfortable with it, because what works for you. It's just, for me, I'm comfortable doing 2, 3, 4, 5 houses at a time. And I learn, because perfect example is this. Over the last few weeks, we've gotten a bunch of properties, and as a matter of fact, which is kind of crazy, during this conversation, I just got a text message. We just picked up another property in Greece, and we ended up getting rid of about 3 other properties because we ended up getting too many, but they were good enough deals where we know we can pass them along. I'm comfortable with it. I'm not telling everyone else to be comfortable with it, but when you're, especially within this group, you'll be able to say, okay, what's the best way to handle it? Like Scott Spear, he'll work on multiple storage facilities, and some of those deals, those are 2 comma deals, or they add up to multiple 2 comma deals. I mean, Scott, do you ever feel uncomfortable, or how do you handle it?
Yeah, when I started, Jim, I know exactly how you're feeling, because I felt the same way. It's kind of like, you're kind of hedging your bet on that one deal, and you're waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting. You want to keep your money there. And then what's going to happen if that deal doesn't come together? Or what happens if that deal comes together? I can't put in another offer. There's people in this group that definitely loan money, number one. And also, worst case scenario is, let's say if you do have 2 deals going at the same time, and if they both close, well, you have enough money for one, but maybe not the other one. What you could do is do an equity partnership with somebody and say, hey, okay, if you put up the money, you'll own, let's say 50% of it. And then the money lender owns 50% of it. And then you guys go, you do the deal and you split it. With short sales, I know it used to be, and I think it still is, you can't assign those to somebody else like a wholesale deal. But I did the same thing you did for a long time. And then I just kind of let go of it and just said, okay, I'm going to work multiple deals at a time. I'll figure out a way to get the funding for it if it works. It's overwhelming, and I know exactly what you feel like, because I still feel like that sometimes. What if all these close at the same time? And short sales, I know, are tough, but if the deal's good enough, there's people I know on this call that would loan you the money on it. So I'd say don't, keep working multiple deals. A good example of that is Gabe. He's working on some storage deals, and he's not just hedging his bet on one. He has a few that he's working with the current owners to try to get them, under contract. And he's doing a great job at that. And I know that Joe does the same thing. Joe Lavabera, he, like you said, he just works multiple deals. So it's it's overwhelming, it's intimidating, and I know how you feel on it. But just trust me, if the deal works, it'll work. Or, worst case is on a short sale, bank comes back, counters your offer, and the deal just doesn't work for you. At that point, you're just out anyways. And when we were talking earlier about the eviction moratorium, I think if and when that is lifted, there's going to be a ton of inventory out there, a ton of deals, and you're going to be choosing which one is the right one for you instead of having to try to chase these. But, I would say stick with the guy you're working with. He does a great job at short sales, and just unfortunately some do and don't work out. And I've done plenty of short sales, and he's absolutely right. Sometimes there gets to be federal liens on there, medical liens, all kinds of different liens that start popping up once they start looking into things, and then the numbers just don't work at that point. So just don't get frustrated, keep pressing on. And I know you keep coming back to these meetings, Jim, and I think that's awesome. Just keep pressing on it. So, yeah.
Scott, I like what you said on do multiple deals, because I equate it to, if you have one deal, everything has to be 100% perfect. Everything has to go smoothly, and I'm not perfect. So if you have a couple of deals going at once, and like Scott said, Jim, it is going to be scary, but you have all these people you can call and talk to. And Warner is unbelievable at doing the short sales. Check out, if you get nervous, call somebody. They'll take care of that and be able to talk it out. And then afterwards, you'll get to the point where, like, geez, I'm only doing 2 deals this month. Okay, I got to step up. And you'll get more comfortable to do 3 or whatever. And you'll know your limit. Okay.
Anybody else in the group feel that way? Like what Jim was saying? What if all the deals come together? Okay. Jim, does that help at all?
Oh yeah, definitely helps. Yeah, I just kind of kicked myself because I just missed out on, it was crazy time, because like Genesee County tax auction came about, Wyoming County tax auction came about, Livingston County tax auction came about, and they were all on the same day. And I went to them because I've never been to them before, and I'm looking at these deals, and I'm thinking to myself, God, if I would have just, like, for example, there was a mobile home park in Perry that went for, maybe it was a little bit over $60,000. Thinking to myself, God, if I would just allocated that money to that, right? Potentially won that, then I could have, there was a value add opportunity there that I kicked myself for not even doing, but I didn't do it because I had this money tied up. So I'm done. I don't want to do that anymore. If I find a deal, I want to act on that deal and let it fall where it may. And, if it, like Joe said, if it's a good enough deal, I can come on here, talk about another property, and potentially spark an interest with a partnership or something like that. So yeah, that definitely helps. And I definitely want to learn more about marketing to a group of potential sellers. So that's what I'm going to kind of focus on now is getting some sort of game plan together. I've been talking to Chris Lawrence on how he does his marketing, and just, interested in learning about that and getting in front of people and talking with them and seeing if I can help them solve a problem.
It sounds to me like you at least have leads coming in, which is good.
Yeah.
You're out there, you're being very resourceful, which is great.
Yeah, Chris Lawrence, he's a great guy. I know he's involved with FFREIA. Good guy. I've seen a lot of his growth. I've known him from kind of the beginning. And he's just a really good guy. So yeah, stick close with him. So, yeah, cool. All righty. Who else? Anybody else got anything you want to bring up? Any questions you might have?
I have a question regarding, I guess maybe make a purchase. I guess, how do you feel about a purchase, renting for a year or so, and then selling as kind of a long-term flip, sort of? You guys have any thoughts or opinions about that?
Good for taxes.
What are you trying to accomplish, Leslie, in regards to renting it for a year and then selling it? Like Joe was saying, you're trying to avoid higher capital gains. You're trying to get a higher rate of return. What are you looking?
Well, I guess I was looking to it as an option, because mainly because I may put, let's say if I make a purchase and I end up putting a bit of money into it, I may not feel like it's worth it to sell it at that point, but maybe in another year or so, or especially maybe if after I have a tenant in it, then it might have a little more value, and then at that time be worth it. At the same time, that would be capital gain savings.
So, okay, so just a couple of scenarios that comes in my mind. One is that, I mean, obviously the market's pretty hot right now. Or do you think you're buying the property too high? Is that what you're saying? And you're just trying to make some money during that year? Because who knows what's going to happen a year from now? That's the only thing that makes me nervous. But you know, so that's what I'm trying to figure out, where you're coming in from here.
Well, it may probably purchase too high based on the amount of money it may take to actually do fix and repairs, or do the rehab. So I'm thinking, well, you know, if I put in more than I wanted to, I can, you know, hold on to it to maybe get some of that back and then sell later on. And if the market isn't good later on, I can just continue renting. That's kind of my fallback plan if the market doesn't work out.
As long as you feel comfortable buying it at that higher price. You know, everybody has different thresholds. So again, which might work for like Scott or Jim or anybody else on this call may not work for you, or vice versa. So, I mean, do you like the property? Do you want to be able, I mean, do you mind holding it for the next 2 or 3 years, 4 years, 5 years?
I guess I wouldn't mind, but.
So, but would you tie up your money? Well, what's the situation? You got to elaborate a little bit here.
I guess the problem with holding it is that it does tie up your money. If the market does change later on, I could, you know, maybe I could take the money out now instead of trying to make purchases now, because I think even things that need work are still going at higher prices than they probably really are worth. I'm not getting those deep discounts that some of you guys might be finding. But
are you looking off market, on market? How are you trying to find your properties really quickly?
Actually, I found two one I found off market, one on market.
Okay. The reason why I ask is because I've had other people, you know, say, Joe, I can't find deals and I need to buy this, you know, because I just want a deal. I want a deal. And the only thing I worry about is you know, I tell them if they're comfortable, just like you, if you're comfortable with it, that's fine. And then they ask my opinion, would I do it? And I'm like, you can't take what I would do, but me personally, I just don't do that. I'll say no more than I'll say yes, because are you going to be comfortable dealing with the tenants, dealing with a longer, you know, being able to deal with tenants and toilets and taxes? That's up to you. And why are you looking to spend more money on a property if you know you're going to tie it up? Is it because you haven't found one, or is it because you're feeling like, okay, I finally got something, I have to make it work? Why?
I have my actual scenario. I have two properties I purchased in the auction back in, well, the deed closed in 20. So they couldn't get anybody out because of the moratorium, but I finally got them out this summer, cash for keys deals. One of the houses, by the time I get that fixed up, it's probably going to be close to its value. So that one, that I'm thinking that's most likely a rental for me to at least get some of that money back. The other one, I'm trying to start work on it, and I'm debating of to whether try to go ahead and put that as go straight for a flip, or to do the same type of thing. One of the things is to get it as a rental will cost me a little less than to put it up as to try to flip it immediate flip. So I'm thinking there's a savings that way. And that's well, I guess that's the case where I'm thinking about doing that, holding on for a year or more and then selling. Because one of them when I'm really putting a lot of money in, I'm really thinking I'm going to be holding on to that just because of that.
Well, would it be worth to just put the money into it, sell it, get your money back, and put it to work somewhere else if you're going to break even?
Well, I'm thinking I guess I'm thinking that I would only be breaking even if I just sell it. But if I rent it, I'll have at least that much of a gain.
Well, I don't know. I'm sorry, Joe, I'll be quiet.
No, go ahead. I want we got to hear other people's opinions, because all of us are different, parts of our investing strategies and cycles. So I'd love to hear from other people.
Yeah, well, the thing is, if the concern is you're only going to break even or close to break even, then the tax is not an issue, because if you break even, there is no tax. And my personal opinion is a property is never worth more with a tenant in it than Colleen is here. I'd be curious on her opinion, but by the time you hassle with the tenant and some wear and tear that they put on it and dirt that it just, and somebody being there when the owner goes in or the buyer goes in, it just isn't worth it. So I just don't see that value. Where I see value in a tenant being there, and a ton of value in a tenant being there, is if you're going to owner finance it out, or you do similar to Scott with his lease with an option, or I'm sorry, lease and an option. That has value, and I have sold with owner financing a number of times, and basically saved myself on properties that were the margin was very thin by the time the dust settled. The margins had gotten pretty thin, and I sold with seller financing and made money. I wound up doing okay. So those would be the only times where I see a tenant adding value to a property. With the disclaimer, I am not a landlord or a housing provider type of person. I always say that I'm the world's worst landlord. But I personally just don't see the value. And the times I've done it, I had one where I did put a tenant in, or one or two. And my God, what they did to the thing, I had to go back and redo the whole house by the time they moved out so I could sell it. So, just my opinion.
Okay, I guess, yeah, there is that risk. I didn't think about that risk part with the tenant actually doing damage.
Well, I mean, they were nice people. They didn't intentionally do damage, but cooking and wear and tear and, you know, the walls get dirty, the kids, the dog, whatever. I don't think they had a dog actually, but
Is
just
this all within a year
cooking
or so?
and the grease. I never saw so much grease. I was like, what the hell? And then they were in the medical field. I'm going, what are you doing? Yeah.
They do this damage within a year?
Well, actually, they were there for longer. Once they were there, you know, there was a downturn and in the market and in values, and they were supposed to buy it. It was, you know, it was a deal they were supposed to buy. But no, they were there for a couple of years.
I mean, just to sort of interject, you know, with tenants, it's gonna vary from one tenant to the next. You have some people that could move in there and they could stay in there for 5 years and the house will look almost as good as when you put them in there. And others, after 5 weeks, you'll need to demo it and start over again. So, you know, that's the part associated with the tenants and what's gonna happen there is gonna be fairly variable. It sounds like one option would be to take an approach that a lot of guys did back in the 80s. What they would do is they would buy a house and they basically would do what's nowadays called like house hacking. They would buy a house on an FHA mortgage. And so that meant that they could get really great terms during those time periods. And private lending wasn't as prevalent back then. So it was a strategy that they used to buy the house. They would fix the house up. They would live in the house and then they would rent out another portion of it. You know, if it was a double, then they had a unit they would rent out. Otherwise, they would rent out like rooms and stuff. So they're there and it's a place where they're able to defer a lot of their personal expenses, and at the same time, they would be fixing the house up. And then once the house got to the point where, first of all, back then, of course, you had, you know, long short-term capital gains. So they would get past the capital gains concerns, and then they would put the house up and they would sell it. And some people had that strategy, and that was the main strategy that they used for the house that they were going to live in. And then they would do other things with other houses so that, you know, if you look at their real estate portfolio, they always had one that they were rehabbing themselves. And so it really is dependent upon you and how handy you want to, how handy you are and how much you want to really get engaged in doing something like that on an ongoing basis. But I mean, a lot of people do it nowadays, and they just do house hacking, you know, where they.
And for that, don't you have to live there?
Yeah, I mean, you would be living there, right? You would be living there, and for some people it would work, and for some people it wouldn't. But I know a couple of guys that's what they did, you know. And I don't know what your specific situation is. It's just that was one of the strategies that I've seen people use in the past.
I'm not looking to live there. I'll stay where I am.
Yeah.
You know, Leslie, in the last couple of weeks, I've had people that I've dealt with, they wanted to sell their property and they had tenants in there. And the prices they were asking wasn't going to work. I told them it was worth more vacant than it was with a tenant. So I didn't even bother going to even look at the house because the numbers were just, you know, he thought he was asking a good price. It was a house in the 19th ward, probably worth around 130, 125, 130. And he goes, I want 70. I said, all right. So as soon as I started asking questions, it was going to need, it was going to need about $25,000 worth of work because it was a rental. He'd had it for a couple of years. He knew he needed work. And the numbers just, I went over the numbers with him. He realized that was meant for somebody who just wants to buy and hold it for a long time. For me, $70,000 for a rental, it didn't excite me at all. For me, okay, but for somebody else, it may work. I don't know.
Does the moratorium affect your thinking about rentals and renters?
100%. 100%. I had a guy call me up just yesterday, and he's got 2 uncooperative tenants in a great area of Maplewood. It's probably worth around 130, 140. And I'm like, nope, I can't even get in the house. And he wanted almost half. So.
Well, I guess I was thinking about that, but I'm guessing the moratorium is going to end at some time. So if I did sign a 1-year lease, hopefully by then, the moratorium will be over if I chose to go that route.
I don't like the hope when it comes to dealing with real estate and money.
And particularly if you're in New York State, where I wouldn't be surprised if New York, I really would not be surprised if New York didn't extend the moratorium all the way, certainly to June and maybe even to the end of the year in 2022.
Yeah. Even if they don't, time to get them out, you'll be going into fall and winter of next year. So.
Well, thanks for your input. Thanks for your thoughts. Give me a bit to think about.
Hopefully we didn't scare you.
Not scared yet. At least not any more than I was before. Put it that way.
Good. Scott's still there? I think he's
Yep.
still
here. Yep, I'm still here. Well, yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Leslie. And right now are just really weird times. That's for sure. To buy something, everybody's situation is different. I know some people are buying things, and Joe knows them, that they know the tenants aren't paying, but they're still buying the property because there's plenty of upside and all that. But that's not for the faint of heart. That's not, that's, you're really speculating there. And, in real estate, when you start speculating, that's when it starts getting a little tricky. And like Leon said, who knows when they're going to lift the eviction moratorium? It could go for much longer. So, but yeah, thanks for bringing that up. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to ask or bring up?
I just got an email that the ERAP and also the EPPI grants have been closed, or the assistance programs have been closed. So things are going to get real interesting pretty soon. Sorry.
Yeah, they're all working off of the existing applications and doling out money. I guess the LRAP money started hitting people's bank accounts Monday. But a lot of the ERAP and stuff, it's been spoken for weeks. They just stopped accepting applications, I think. So I think that until there's more funding that comes from the federal government for it, that's pretty much a done deal. If you got your application in 3 or 4 weeks ago, your chances are probably pretty good. If you waited until this week, you're probably SOL.
Yeah, one of the things that I sent actually in an email to you, I think that I got from Gary Kirkmeyer, basically where they're going to be providing some more funding. So we'll probably put that up on the website. We'll see. It just gives a little quick synopsis, for sake of better words, associated with the three different ways of that funding can be done and where it stands. And yeah, a lot of the money, particularly at the county level, is basically gone. At least that's my understanding of it. But if you go to the website, you know, we'll have something up there. We'll take Gary Kirkmeyer's document and make it available on the website if people want to take a look at it.
We spoke about this. I know, Scott, you weren't on last week or 2 weeks ago when we spoke. We talked about how there's going to be an increase in landlords wanting to get rid of their properties. I've gotten about a 25% increase on sick and tired of landlords. Anyone else can attest to this at all? No one's out there getting phone calls. Wow. Kind of shocked. Well, all I can say is that I've got at least a 25% increase on that. They're just sick and tired of being sick and tired. And we spoke. We had a really great discussion in the last evening meeting in regards to that. And there's going to be more and more people that will be wanting to get rid of stuff. Just like Scott Spear said, you know, especially when the moratorium is going to be lifted. At the same time, even when the moratorium gets listed, there's going to be it's going to take 4 to 6 months to get tenants out. You know, some of them, you know, just like Scott was talking about, you know, I bought stuff where the tenants weren't paying, but there was a huge and big enough spread, and I liked the area where didn't matter if they did $30,000 worth of damage, there was still a huge upside. That one gentleman in the Maplewood area there, I just didn't want to deal with it because the tenants were just not even letting anybody in. They were just horrendous from what he told me. But of course, who knows? But yeah, I would definitely be on the lookout, and in regards to more and more opportunities being put out there. And again, Scott Spear said it perfect. You are speculating. If you have the wherewithal and you're in a position to do it, more power to you. If you don't, I would be very, very careful. I don't like speculating. I'd rather make sure. I will take some chances, but I won't, you know, take some of the other chances that other people I've seen take, and then have to worry about the moratorium, because I'm just figuring no matter what, they're going to be in there till about September. Can I handle it till at least September? And then if it goes to June, like Leon said, figure till the end of the year. By the time they're out, and you're going to figure 2023.
Yeah, I think just to interject, you know, one of the things that I think people should recognize is that, you know, basically the courts are just starting back up. I've had a couple of folks in eviction court, and basically they just say, okay, we're not going to evict the person, basically. And all of a sudden they're going to start evicting people, but at the same time, the courts are going to be flooded with all of these folks. And they're changing the framework of Rochester City Court, but still it's going to be so many people that the courts are just going to be overwhelmed. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I was making the comment about the amount of time that it's going to take.
Absolutely.
And so I know this is not a landlord session, but it did come up. So the new program is called the Landlord Ambassador Grant Program, and the Housing Council is putting that on. And basically what they're doing is Um, They're setting it up for landlords with 9 units or less. And basically the vacant, they broke it into like a couple of different pieces. The vacant property reimbursement repair, they're giving grants up to $5,000 per unit. Then they have a code violation program, and that's grants to fix necessary violations associated with the property, and then an eviction prevention program where they are doing basically providing monies for rents that are in the arrear. So, but that's something relatively new from the Housing Council. So that was the new program I was mentioning earlier.
And by the way, a lot of people, especially landlords, find all this stuff confusing, which is another reason why they want to get out. They just rather, just walk away. So that's another issue, because they think it's just going to take, they think they have to jump through hoops. I was just looking at my notes. That gentleman who wanted $70,000 for that 2-family with those horrendous tenants, I said, listen, I want to be nice and respectful here, but I'm going to be somewhere between $25,000 and $30,000. I needed to make sure it's going to be worthwhile to deal with it. And it's worth probably 130, 140 grand for this 2-family. Okay. Now we're waiting to hear to see if the guy is going to say no or not. I haven't heard a no yet. If he says yes, I'm going to be like, wow, how bad are these people? So we'll see what happens.
Joe, there's one piece I might add, if that's okay, just as I've dealt with this a little bit. And I think especially, I think as Greg's comment here in the chat, like every landlord will eventually be tired. I think there's a positive side of it too, that I've experienced at least a couple times in the past month, where there's just some landlords, 2 properties that I bought recently that are tired, but not necessarily from bad tenants. It's a lot of times they have vacancies, and there's fear if they put somebody new in, what that'll look like. So that there has been some opportunity, at least that I've found, with really good properties. And of course it's then in your hands to put somebody good in there. But even, one of them was a great seller financing deal of just landlords who, again, they want to retire, they like the income, but there's some opportunity there as well, especially what I found with people who have vacancies that are just a little bit nervous to place tenants. So just a positive spin that I found on the current situation.
Oh, that's great. That's fantastic. Actually, I like buying them vacant. I've talked to a lot of other investors, especially the ones that want to buy them, especially the multis. They'd rather have them vacant, so that way they can fix them up and flip them and get a higher price versus dealing with a tenant. So yeah, or we'll tell them, say, hey, this is vacant. We put it right in the purchase offer. Do not rent this out.
Mm-hmm.
We want it vacant. So, because that way, if we're signing them out, or if we're going to flip them or do whatever, we let the new homeowner want to put whoever they want to put in there. That way there's no hassles, So, yeah, that's
For sure.
great.
Yeah, but of course they're far and few between, but some people who maybe they're not actively thinking about selling, but they're kind of in that renting phase. And as soon as you kind of chime in the word of sale, that at least I've had some good luck with that. So just thoughts to share with the group.
Yeah.
But how do you know for sure whether a tenant is paying rent or not?
What you mean when you're talking to somebody about purchasing a property? How do you know that they're actually collecting rent?
Yeah,
it's a crapshoot. You can ask for their rent rolls, but it doesn't mean they're going to be accurate.
Or do what Colleen does: have them put 3 months worth of money into an escrow. If they pay, great, they get it back. They have nothing to worry about. If they raise any objections, there's your 1% doubt. That means I got to get out. So
sounds good.
Anyone have any? Scott, actually, I can never tell if Scott's still on or not.
I'm on, Joe.
There you are. I can't tell, I think, 'cause I only got these 4 over here. I can't. It's only showing me 3 people on my screen here. That's it. I don't know how to do all this.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes we lose you because I know you're, I don't know how good your reception is over there.
That's very true. Yeah. And I think coming up, I might be running up against that. But I know that, you know, definitely a lot of good things going on. I know we have a lot of people on this. Is there anybody who, like, is maybe doing something a little bit different that they'd want to share with the group? Brett, what you brought up about how to deal with people and stuff like that, I think that was really good. You know, it's good to hear a little different spin on things. But is anybody else doing anything maybe a little bit different, or something they'd like to share with the group, or something that's worked for them, or something that hasn't worked for them lately?
It's a good question.
You know, for me, it's just been reaching out to other people. You know, that's been working for me. You know, sometimes we sit in a bubble and we feel like we're the only ones dealing with these things, and it's not. You know, it's you know, it's worth it to call out and talk with other people. You know, it definitely has helped me. And then especially with us, you know, being secluded and not being able to have meetings and such like that, and different things being shut down. You know, make that phone call. It's, to me, I'd rather have an in-person meeting, but at least make that phone call. And I have to, I have to be better at that, but I do that. And, you know, I think it not only helps me, but it helps the other person too. And I know that in 2 weeks, we're having a meeting, we're having our alternatives nighttime meeting. And what I'd like to do with that one, I'm hoping to be at a place where I can be on. And Joe, if not, here's what I was thinking at the next alternatives meeting. I'd like to do a breakout room and maybe talk about 2022 goals for everybody. I can't believe I'm saying 2022. Holy smokes. But hey, what goals would you like to accomplish in 2022? I'd like to maybe just go into breakout rooms with like 4 people in each room, and just everybody just kind of talk about what your goals might be for 2022. And from that, will help other people too to think about, oh, that's a good idea. You know, I'd like to accomplish that in 2022, or, you know, maybe I'll add it to my, you know, 2023 goals. And that's the big thing is I set goals, and you know, I talk with other people about setting goals too. In 2021, I exceeded my goals. I was very surprised, had a lot of good things come together. Yeah, and some things didn't work out the way that I thought they would, but that's okay because, you know, I had other things going on too. So I've accomplished a lot. I've met a lot of new good friends and all that in 2021, which was important. I had a chance to travel. But what I want to do at the next meeting, which is going to be in the evening, is just kind of talk about goals as a group. So I hope everybody comes back. I hope everybody invites more people to come back to our evening session in 2 weeks. And let's just kind of share goals. And you can be really broad if you want, or you can be very defined on your goals. You know, whether it's personal or business, you know, let's talk about some goals and some goal setting in 2022, because, you know, I found when you write it down, they really come true. And I know I've talked to some people that, you know, when you set a date goal, somehow your mind is working and hits, you know, you hit that date. We've had it happen with a few people. So I'd definitely like to see that for 2022. Y'all spend time coming to this and spend time here and help and share information. I'd like for everybody to succeed in 2022 and reach your goals. So that's my plan for 2 weeks. Joe, you good on that?
I'm fine with that. You're the boss.
No, man, I'm not the boss. Not at all. So, not at all.
That's a great idea. I like that, actually. And it's better to do it with a small group. With it, the breakout rooms are really fantastic. I like those.
Good. All right. And I heard in the beginning And I want everybody to understand, we hear what you're saying. As far as like marketing, I heard people talk about they want to market, they want to learn how to market. And, you know, some people sounded like they wanted to learn how to brand themselves. Maybe not so much market for customers, but learn how to just brand themselves and become a brand. And I think that's very important. And also the other marketing part is, you know, marketing for customers, marketing for houses and things like that. So I'm going to kind of challenge the FFREIA board to see if maybe at a general meeting, we could have something like that. I don't know what the plans are for 2022 for the general meetings, but I think that's something that could be very vital to the group, to have a marketing person, you know, kind of a different spin on things, come in and talk to the group. So what does everybody think about that?
Well, let me just sort of interject. And then real quickly before, right now, I'm in the process of generating a list that we're going to be looking at as possible topics. At the general meeting that we just had, I basically asked folks for their input. So input regarding general meeting topics. So I have a list, and I'll be more than happy to add the item that you just talked about to the list and get other input from folks. So you could go to the website and you can send it to me that way, or you could send it to me via leongriggs@yahoo.com. And that I'll put your item on the list. One of the things that Andy is going to do is to send out a survey, get input back from folks regarding what it is that they would like to see. And from that, from the list that we have and the input that Andy gets back from the survey, we'll decide what the topics are going to be and do our best to make sure that what the people want is what we actually put in place. So, and you know, regarding the marketing piece, I think the specific one that you outlined around marketing had like 3 different pieces to it. And, you know, marketing becomes very, very complex when you sort of look at what it is that you need to do to really be successful. And I always define successful from a marketing perspective fairly simple, and that is you do the marketing and then all of a sudden things just organically begin to happen. And it means that a person has done a multitude of different things to get their name out there, to get people interested in basically contacting them, and they've gotten to a point where just word of mouth means that they're going to get business. So the one person who obviously does that and does it very well is right here on the call, Joe LaBarbera. So we could always have Joe do a class on his marketing stuff, but quite frankly, in case people don't really realize it, most folks who are really good at marketing are very successful at doing real estate investing, and they tend to not give you all the specific details of how they do their marketing and what pieces are that works for them, because they're basically providing you with a way to allow you to eat their lunch. But, you know, we can certainly go over the basics and go through it, and there are a lot of different components to marketing, and it becomes very complex. Are you going to do it via the internet? Are you going to do it via bandit signs? Are you going to do it via a whole bunch of different other techniques like putting up billboards? And you can go on and on and on. So yeah, it would be a super subject to talk through and have folks provide their input around how they do things. could always do a panel or something like that. So sure, I think it's great to do it. That's my 2 cents.
Great. All right, that sounds good, Leon. For everybody new in the group, I know we're posting these videos now, which is great. And another good website that a lot of people use for resources and information is Bigger Pockets. If you've never heard of them, check them out. The neat thing about Bigger Pockets is you can search by subject things too. And also you can find people locally that are connected in real estate. So, for me, this group has been a big help. So if you run into people, tell them about the FFREIA group. We want to definitely make this bigger and more interactive too. So, yeah. What other questions does people have? Things that they want to talk about? Things going on? All right. Okay, cool. So, well, with that, we got a few more minutes. We can hang out and just chat. If somebody has something they want to talk about, we'll do that. And, thanks everybody for joining today. I know everybody's schedule is busy and all that, but I appreciate everybody taking the time to come in and join in on this. And like I said, in 2 weeks, we're going to do some breakout rooms and, just get into a little bit smaller group and talk about some goals. So good. Anybody else have anything that maybe is a challenge or anything you'd like to bring up? Now would be the time.
I think we're good.
Okay. All right. Very good. All right, everybody. So I'll hang out for a few minutes if you want. I guess we can officially call this to a close. Joe, you have anything you want to add?
Go do real estate. That's pretty much about it. So,
Cool.
everybody in 2 weeks in the evening meeting. Thank you. I'll hang out for a couple minutes also.
Yeah, and don't forget the holiday party. I think you have to RSVP by Monday, but the holiday party is next Friday. So wish I was going to be up in Rochester for it. It's a great event. It's a lot of fun. And even if you can only come for a half hour, it's definitely worth it. So thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Scott. Scott, are you looking at, Scott, did you look at more storage facilities?
Not really. I've been talking to a few people on some things. Got one in Texas that we're working on. It's with we're partners on one in North Carolina, and the girl who's the operator, she found one in Texas too. So we're looking at that one. So it's about an hour from Dallas, Fort Worth.
Where are you at now? You have 8, 9? How many do you have right now?
Let's see.
Oh yeah, great.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I think I have 7 because we sold a couple of them I'm partnerships with. We sold. So, but yeah, I'm up to about. I think I'm at 8. I'd have to double check honestly. So somewhere between 7 and 9. So.
I don't know how many storage facilities you have. How many doors you think you have total?
About 600 doors.
600
roughly.
doors.
Yeah, 6
Wow.
maybe 700 doors right now. Yep.
That is fantastic.
Yeah. And I also got involved in a couple of I invested in some where the guys are operating it, and a few of us put our money together, and those are working out well. With those ones, we just plan on doing a quick sale. There is one in let's see, outside Baton Rouge, Louisiana. There's a big one there that we invested in. And if somebody has some money you want to invest, let me know. We can put that money to work. In self-storage, there are some people setting up syndications and such. People that I know and trust. They're really good people. And then have one in Mobile, Alabama that I'm involved with, actually closed on that yesterday. So, and that one was just, you know, a guy had it and I just put up some of the money on it. And with that one, we're going to get in. Lady who owned it was 83 years old. She had Parkinson's disease. The kids really didn't want to take it over. So we stepped in and we're buying it. And the cool thing about it is I talked to my partners. We're going to donate 10% of all the profit to the Parkinson Foundation in this lady's name. So
That's cool.
Great.
yeah. So it's sort of, you know, our little give back on that. So she
Yeah,
was,
that's great.
yeah.
So Scott, I mean, some of us, when we still got a fair number of people on the call, just I sort of think about the beginning and, you know, when you started and what you were doing and you know, so you basically shift careers. And what do you go back to, what, 7 years, 8 years, somewhere like that, maybe?
Let's see, I'm going to say I got serious about this in 2007, 2008. I dabbled in it for a number of years and then got serious into it 2007, 2008. Bought a number of short sales and then built up that portfolio, what, over 10 years. And that's, you know, it was slow and steady. You know, I wasn't doing anything crazy, just slow and steady.
Yeah.
And then in 2008, I started transitioning to selling all the properties I had and getting ready to go live in the RV and getting into self-storage. So that's what I did. Now, just reading in the comments block, Greg Brooks put up a good comment there. He says, real estate is not the goal. Real estate is something that one might have to do in order to make money. And he's right. You know, that's it's a great way to make money. A lot of really good people in the business, a lot of good people in this room. This is why I like the FFREIA group. There's a lot of good people in this group willing to share ideas. Such. Yeah.
Scott, do you follow, just in your self-storage world, do you follow AJ Osborne closely or other people that you track with?
Yeah, I follow AJ Osborne. He's really good. Kind of breaks it simple, makes it simple, and makes it quick. Michael Wagner, actually, who lives right there in Farmington, with Storage Rebellion. He's pretty big. He and I are good friends, and he's done a lot in self-storage. So, and he's helped a lot of people too. So yeah, definitely AJ Osborne. There's some good Facebook forums too.
Gotcha.
On there. Yeah. There's a Storage Investor Nation. And I've actually was a speaker on that a couple times. And that's just another really good group of people that get together and share ideas. Storage Investor Nation. They put on a summit like twice a year, a Zoom summit. So.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've been in for a couple of months now. I joined the mastermind that AJ Osborne recently put together, not with specific interest in self-storage, just overall education for commercial. And I just like his perspective. But since joining that group, obviously there's a lot of deals that happen there and people post different syndications that they're doing in areas to join. So just want to share that if it's ever of interest. That's been a pretty interesting group to be a part of. Just a lot of times his company, they'll put deals out there that they're not interested in. And if you're ever interested in investing money, there's a lot of people in that group who they'll post their syndications too. So if you're ever interested, it's been a pretty cool group to be a part of.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, no, AJ Osborne's really good. I like him. Seems really down to earth. He and his dad are pretty involved in it together, which is really cool. And I like him a lot. He gives a lot of good information.
Yeah, he's a pretty I don't know if like direct is the right word, or just very like level set on his opinions on different things. And I just enjoyed his perspective just as I've tried to learn more about commercial overall.
Cool. Yeah. Like I said, Mike Wagner with the Storage Rebellion. He's really good. A lot of good guys in his group. And yeah, I've had some good information from there.
Cool. Appreciate it.
So, yeah. And one group I'm involved with, they're in Baltimore. Actually, they're the ones who closed on a big deal in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. It's like an $11 million deal. We feel that fixed up, stabilized, it's going to be worth between 17 and $20 million.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Pretty
Well,
large
that
square foot facility.
Yeah, it's 3 big facilities in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and kind of tying some others into it. And there's a big acquisition. And the guys, like I said, the guys I know them, it's Squarespace Storage. They're the guys running there in Baltimore, Maryland. And yeah, just really good guys, good down to earth guys, able to jump on a call or Zoom with anybody. You know, they're looking for investors. I think the min is like 25,000, and they give class A, B, or C shares into it too. So yeah,
Cool.
yeah, really good guys. Yeah, yeah. So cool. All right. So good. I was just going to call out Daniel and see if he wanted to talk for a minute. So I see him busy. Daniel, what's going on? I don't know if you can hear or not.
He's connected, but he might not be paying attention.
Okay, yeah, yeah. All righty. Okay, all right, everybody, I'm gonna drop off now, and hope everybody has a great day. Hope you guys have a great time at the holiday party. Like I said, I can't stress enough how much fun that is if you've never been to it. And we will see you all in 2 weeks, if not before. Take care.
Thank you, Scott.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Have a
everybody.
great day.
Thanks, everyone.
Have a good one, everybody.
Thanks for your help and have a great day.
All right, take care, Leslie. Gabe, take care. Everybody, have a good one.